Good morning and good afternoon or good evening to you in Pakistan. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Dr. Suhail. Today we will be conducting the seminar on or workshop on effective communication. I'm joined by Mr. Joseph Simpson. Joseph have been my student. Next slide, please. Joseph has been my student for a long time now. Next slide, Joseph, please.
Oh, next slide. Okay, I can barely hear you.
So our agenda for today will be that we'll talk a little bit about this series. I'm not sure, depending upon the number of students who have shown interest in communicating or doing the speeches, I'm not sure whether we will be able to do this in a second day or not. But right now we're going to complete a presentation today which will talk about anxiety of speech. It will also give you some suggestions on becoming an effective speech maker. So there will be things like how to prepare for a speech, how to deliver it, and how do you engage your audience. Finally, there will be some tips on presentation slides and how to create a slideshow. And then we can take your answers, question and answers. Next slide, please. So Joseph Simpson will be running the show today. Joseph was my student at a civil rights organization over here called Focus Hope. During the 1967 riots, this organization was formed, and since then the organization has been working for the betterment of and providing human services across Detroit region. I met Joseph over there. He was studying over there at that time under the guidance to become a manufacturing engineer. Joseph has been doing this seminar for almost 3 years. This is his third time he's doing this presentation. He's a very good communicator and would like to pass on his own knowledge and experience about the ways of communication, which in most cases you will find a little bit different than the other. Now, what I will like to do at the end of this presentation is to show you guys the on our website, on NED Scholars website, we have a web page where you can find out a lot of resources around communication, English as a second language, how do you learn and be confident in speaking English. So there is a whole web page which talk about all these things, and it also has old presentations. So if you miss something over here today, the presentations, all those video presentations are all available on the website. So I'm going to give you a quick tour of the website later on. Next slide, please, Joseph. So as I said, the workshop basically contains 4 parts. We'll start with the speech anxiety, then talk about a little bit about fundamental of speech, how do you engage audience, because if the audience are not engaged, and you will going to find that Joseph will going to be asking things and you might have to answer some of them, and he will try to engage you guys. And finally we're going to do things that we'll cover at the end will be presentation and presentation structure, which will be more like a PowerPoint presentation. Finally, the thing that I was saying that because of the number of students we might not be able to do was the opportunity for presentation and evaluation of the presentation. We'll find a way of doing it, don't worry about that, but because the number is so low, instead of having a second day, we'll find something some other way of addressing that issue. Okay, so don't worry about that. Next slide, Joseph. I now give mic to Joseph, who will take over from here.
Thank you. Good morning. Thank you, Dr. Ahmed. Well, I am experiencing a complication right now, speaking of speech anxiety, which is that I didn't bring my notes out of the machine. We didn't have the pre-event setup time, so I didn't discover this problem until right now, and I'm trying to figure out how to deal with it. But one of my recommendations is comfort with your subject matter. And so I'm not going to let it stress me out that I can't see my notes, even though they're a couple of pages, because I understand basically what I want to talk to you about, which is the difference. We're going to discuss some techniques, some stage techniques, but Dr. Ahmed has invited me to speak my own mind and heart on this topic, and I personally don't rely on any of these techniques. What I believe is if you have knowledge of your topic and you present it with enthusiasm, that's what engages the audience. And there is a lot of mystique built up around stage fright, the fear of public speaking. All of that ultimately is a misuse of the imagination. It's an anticipation of failure rather than an anticipation of success. If you anticipate success, then you will be enthusiastic. There's no reason why you shouldn't anticipate success if you have comfort with your information and you... I just heard some sound in the background and it threw me off. Excuse me.
Yeah, just a minute, Joseph. Reis and Suzanne, can you mute yourself out from there unless you have a question? Or if you have a wireless mic, just mute that wireless mic.
So you're speaking to audience members right now,
yes,
correct?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that sound did distract me. Yes. But once again, this is real time. This is what speech anxiety consists of. Little things go wrong as they do in life. This is the normal course of life. Things go wrong. And so one of the most important pieces of advice that I have is relating to the breath. The breath will come up in the slides. We will discuss that. But I'm going to suggest to you that the breath calms the mind. And anytime your presentation seems to you to be getting out of your control, you want to take a breath. It will calm the mind, it will center you, and it will take much less time than you imagine in your fearful imagination. You think that, oh, God, I got... Don't worry about that. Take the breath. Your mind will calm, and you will move forward with more clarity and more purpose and more confidence. Because the confidence is your connection to the audience. The audience wants to feel comfortable with you. Engagement, you want to get their alert attention, but that should generally be a matter of serving them. If you serve your audience's interest and you bring enthusiasm about your topic, you will engage your audience. And this is not necessarily dependent on any particular style, and it's certainly not got anything to do with whether my hands are here or there or what part of the stage I'm on. People want to be respected. They want to be served. They want to get information that they can understand is useful to them. If you do those things, and then you use these guidelines that we're about to present to you, to gauge your presentation, the success of your presentation afterwards with a calm mind. Once again, take a breath and calm your mind, and then apply these guidelines, like to assess your progress. Because this is a lifelong skill. This is something you're not going to learn no matter what grade you get for this class, for this presentation. That doesn't mean you're an effective communicator. There are a lot of ways to get a good grade in a class. What I'm talking to you about is the natural human right and responsibility to share information in an effective, mutual, respectful manner. People, just like I believe you do right now, you want to have your intelligence respected. You want to be treated as dignified spiritual beings whose time is valuable. I want to, as a presenter, I want to respect your time. Okay, so much for my rant. That's about... my feeling is that the essence of communication is comfort. It's just like the more that you can make this into the way you operate when you have a normal, casual conversation, a conversation that doesn't involve any stress. You're talking with people, friends, or people that you trust, and you understand it can get excited and emotional sometimes, but that doesn't mean that it takes you off track. So basically, serve, come with the intention to serve, and be confident in yourself that you will. And anytime it feels like you're losing control, take a breath, center yourself, get back into the moment, because all fear is thinking about the future. Come back into the moment and serve your audience. Okay, on with the slides. Let me see. I'm a little bit technically challenged this morning. You've probably gathered that from the setup so far, but let's see what we can do. Okay, now my slide didn't move with the control. Okay, there, and that's too many. Okay. Overcoming speech anxiety. Okay, I'm in process right now. I'm working to overcome my speech anxiety as things seemingly fall apart. So, okay, here we have definitions. I assume that you're going to be getting these slides, so you can review this information. This is just some definitions, some words that come up associated with speech anxiety, fear of public speaking. Okay, what does it really mean? There are symptoms. You recognize them. I don't want you to be thinking about all of this junk when you're doing your presentation. This is guidelines for reviewing your presentation. You will increase in skill through practice. Don't worry about this stuff. But it's all stuff you know. When you're nervous, your heart rate increases, you perspire, your movements become awkward. You have shortness of breath. You have shortness of breath. You have shortness of breath. Breathe. Breathe. Symptoms, verbal symptoms, your volume gets out of control. You and your voice. Breathe. Breathe. Understanding your anxiety. Every speaker experiences anxiety. We just learn to deal with it in different ways. You will feel more nervous than you look to others. We experience our bodies. We experience sensations. And it's what makes life and all of those negative anticipations, all of that fear, it makes it feel so real to us. It ain't that serious. Breathe. Anxiety is simply nervous energy and misdirected attention. Breathe. Build confidence to overcome anxiety. Build confidence by preparing your information. Be prepared. Organize your thoughts early both in your preparation, but also in your introduction. It's very helpful to guide people, to give people a little taster, to play a trailer for them, so to speak, so that they get a kind of overview of where you're taking them. Know your introduction and your conclusion, that's your structure, and understand your audience. Somebody has a mic open in the room. Before you speak, and is coughing into it as well. Practice beforehand. Use deep breathing techniques. Mental pep talk. There's a mic open in the room. And it continues to be open, and whoever has it open is thumping something, slapping it on a table, or something like that. And it continues to be open. Okay, I'll just ignore that since I can't get a response, and build confidence to overcome anxiety. While speaking, focus. Please, it sounds like somebody's in a kitchen washing dishes or something. This is crazy. Can you hear? Can you hear me at all? Because all I'm hearing is this background. Okay. No, it's still there. Are we connected? Dr. Ahmed, say something to me, bring me back in, because I'm not. Okay, I'm barely hearing you. There's an open mic, and it sounds like somebody is in a kitchen washing dishes. I hear like something that sounds like cups and plates clanking around. And that's the whole communication I'm getting. I can barely hear you. This noise is much louder, and I can't tell whether I don't even see my. Let me see if I can still see the room. No, I don't see the image of the room. I don't understand where we're at right now, sir.
Is it okay now?
Hello?
Is it okay now,
okay,
sir?
Now I see the students again. I see the room again.
Okay.
And so far, I'm not hearing that open mic. Are we back on track?
We are hearing you, sir. You can proceed now.
I can proceed now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So are you seeing the same slide I'm seeing? Build confidence to overcome. Are we still on the same page?
Yes, please.
No, sir.
Okay. Okay. While speaking, focus on your message and intention. Slow down. Eye contact. Feel positive listener support. See how lost I got a moment ago? I could not feel the connection. Maintain connection with audience. I was trying. I was struggling. The communication is awkward right now. Do your best to serve them. The intention to serve will carry you through so much. You have a purpose. And when you can put that purpose above yourself, then you can't be fearful, because your mind is not on you and your anxiety, it's on your purpose of serving. So, after the speech, review your positives early, your areas for improvement later. That should have been a semicolon, not a colon there. That's my mistake. Areas for improvement, review later with a calm mind and perspectives. When you go to critique yourself, you want your mind to be calm. You want it to be functional, so you don't abuse yourself. You don't beat yourself up unnecessarily. You don't set yourself impossible demands. Be calm. Once again, breathe. Seek speaking opportunities, craft your skills, develop, and practice. It's all kind of, like matter of fact and simple for an engineer or a programmer. This is what you do. You find the path to your desired result. And anxiety is all about fear. It's about a misuse of the imagination. So reel yourself back in with a calming breath and continue to do your best. Fulfill your best intention. Okay,
Can I interject for a minute?
Sure, please.
So one thing which you can see over here, the last sentence, seek speaking opportunities. Now this is very important. Most of the time we just wait for opportunities to come to us. We don't actively seek for them. I will give you the example of one of your own, Umaid, Sayyid Umaid Ahmed. Now, if you look at him, he will always find an opportunity for speaking. So he will seek for speaking opportunities. He will not going to hesitate for somebody to ask him to do something about or a speaking presentation. He will go after those things. And that's how you feel confidence. That's how you get confidence. That's how you can be able to overcome your anxiety. That's a very, very good example that we have seen lately. It's up to you, Joseph.
Okay, yeah, and on writing on Dr. Ahmed's point there are some of you to whom it's going to be a really uncomfortable idea to seek for speaking opportunities. And I'm going to suggest to you that that is only because of the way you look at things. If you can, as I suggested earlier, use your mind to conceptualize this as normal human activity. There is some type of speaking, communication, interacting with others that you are comfortable with. You want to bring that sensation into your body. You want to breathe, to calm your mind, and not make this into something abnormal and potentially stressful. Come with the purpose to serve, know your information, and you will learn about yourself and your own responses as you try to project your intentions. You'll find challenges, but they'll all be your personal, individual way of seeing things and dealing with things. It is a field of lifelong personal development. And so we express our caring in different ways. The student that Dr. Ahmed just spoke about is proactive in developing opportunity. And it becomes easier as he does it, but it's apparently easy for him even at this point. Talk to people about people that you see who express easily and comfortably. Ask them about how they think about it, because I guarantee you the only difference between you and them is how they think about it. Let me see if I can get the slides to move now, because I'm off on a rant again. Okay, my slides are not moving. Let me see what we can do about that. Okay, here we go. Okay, effective speech. So prepare your presentation. What is your purpose? Is it to inspire? There are many types of communication. Is it to provide concrete, practical information? Present research findings? Explaining something? There can be many purposes, but you need to be clear within yourself what your purpose is in that moment, in that presentation, which is basically how do you intend to serve your audience. Come with the purpose of serving. Put that purpose above your own anxiety. You're there to make something work. And ultimately, like I say, we learn about ourselves, about our own ways of thinking, about our own inhibitions, our own perception of obstacles. Learn your information, intend to serve. Breathe. Breathe. We will lose it sometimes. Breathe. 3-point speech format is a simple format, perfect for almost all speeches. It's introduction, conclusion. In between the introduction and the conclusion, you make a body of your speech. It's kind of accepted, experiential understanding that a speech has 3 main points. That's like enough to keep it interesting, but not enough to overwhelm. You want to keep things comfortable for your audience and definitely not overwhelm them with information. You want to consider what information will stimulate and motivate them and be of use to them. Which reminds me of a thing. Make sure that you don't fall into a trap of presenting to impress people with how smart you are. That is not a thing that people connect with. That automatically, it puts you in a position of getting people to submit to your authority. You may be an authority. You want to be an authority. You want to be comfortable in your authority. But you don't want to be condescending and you don't want to be confusing. Put yourself in the other shoes and relate to this whole thing as with what you would be comfortable with. Treat people as the golden rule is a wonderful thing. Yes, do unto others as you would be done. Respect your audience at all times and seek to serve them, and you will be accepted and you will be appreciated. Use transitions. Transitions may be smooth, they may be abrupt, they may be startling sometimes. All of that is, you can feel, neither is better, abrupt or smooth, neither is better. One is how you feel it as being appropriate in the moment. Once again, keep this as normal conversation. Feel your audience. And once again, breathe, relax, because if you are uptight, if you are stressed, you will not feel your audience, and your audience will not feel you. Relaxation is so important. So everything that you can do to enforce your own comfort and relaxation, attract audience attention. I believe that if you project the intention to serve, if you project confident understanding of your information, you will not have any problem attracting the audience's attention. Preview the speech, give them that's your introduction, you guide them into what they're about to experience. You give them that little bit of a trailer so that they can get involved in the story before the movie even starts. Don't explain too much, though. You just want to whet their appetite. You want to give them a little taste, a little flavor, a little sense of direction, and then pull them along. The purpose of an attention-getting device to introduce yourself, to spark the interest in the topic, to share your enthusiasm, to spark interest in the topic. Don't think of that as manipulative. To spark interest. See, some of this language, it's like you're doing things to the audience, like you're tricking them. You don't want to be tricked. You don't want to trick your audience. You want to share enthusiasm. You want to share useful perspectives and information. Give an idea of the specific points you will be covering, and they will follow along much better. Types of attention-getting devices. You know this stuff. Illustrations. Oh, short stories. Now, what we respond to as human beings is stories. So the more you can stay away from presenting facts and keep this conversational. Keep it, you know, when you solve problems for people, it's often very helpful to bring them into their experience of the problem. And you do that with a story or even a question. Startling, statistics, facts, humors, rhetorical questions. There are some rhetorical questions coming up. Let me move along. Quotations. Okay, here we go. Oh, Dr. Ahmed, you want to show these videos? Is that... Dr. Ahmed?
Yeah, I was planning to do that, but I think there is an issue. We can try it, but seems like the audience might not be able to hear the voice. But we can try 1 minute.
Okay, just
if you can hear the sound, let us know.
Let's,
go ahead,
okay. Okay. Waiting for response from. Okay, can't connect securely to this page. Go back to last page. And now
don't worry about it.
Yeah. We've had enough complications already today.
Yeah, they can view it later on.
Yeah. That's kind of what I was thinking as I was like editing the slides and whatnot. Okay, so then these are videos that are about storytelling, and they're short, and I suggest viewing them in your leisure time. They will. Oh, and this one I found very interesting. You know, as a student engineer myself, this 3D painting technology, 3D printing. Okay, so yeah, I suggest the videos as presenting good information. Okay, startling statistics can motivate the audience to listen. They can also beat the audience into unconsciousness if you use that as your primary mode of operation. They need to be adapted to something the audience can conceptualize. This is an important idea. In cartoons, you see the image of a light bulb going on over the head. That is actually the way we understand things. We have a sensory image, which is not necessarily a visual image. All of our senses provide us with imagery. And that's where we get sensation, and we get a feeling that we understand something when the picture forms for us. So whatever statistics you present, it's best that they are part of a story, because they need to be something that the audience can feel. But once it is something that the audience can feel, it greatly enhances your credibility. Even if this is an illusion, I'm going to success. See, because what it does is it gets the audience more comfortable with you. The audience begins to trust you when you involve them in stories, when you present in ways that enable them to see what you're talking about. Humor, relaxing, techniques. This will be comfortable for some of you. in some of your presentations, don't take any of this as stock techniques. Do not build your presentation on any of this stuff. Reflect on all of these guidelines when you're in your calm mind and perspective, and it is your intention to develop your craft, to understand better how you connect with an audience, how you serve an audience. Translation, oh yeah, definitely. Translation humor goes very badly between different languages. Also, you know, I experience humor translates very poorly even in a medium like Facebook. You know, be short, or text messages. Text messages are horrible. So you have to be careful about humor. Don't rely on it. If it's spontaneous and it feels appropriate in the moment, then it is a spark of life, you know, and accept it. We all are funny at different times when we don't necessarily intend to. We have spontaneous reflections. Rhetorical questions slow down the pace. They get your audience to think, because sometimes we hear stuff, but we're not really listening. So you can get the audience to slow down and then hear you a little better by asking them a rhetorical question. It's an excellent method to ensure continued interest, to bring the audience back into the moment. But effective you know this, you feel this. Yeah, effective delivery is important. But what is effective delivery? It's what feels right in the moment. And that's what you want to refer to. You want to refer to your own feelings. What would be acceptable and a sign of respect and dignity to you. You want to serve. Have I repeated that? Because I'm going to repeat it more. Quotations, whatever. Yeah, referencing an expert, it can improve your credibility. And as far as avoiding cliche quotes, go by your sense of feel. You know, don't say something is cliche. Consider whether it serves to enhance your communication, whether it serves the point that you're intending to make. Okay, the body of the speech, the three main points in the body of your speech. Keep them simple, don't confuse. You know that, you understand that, you feel that. Just breathe, enter your calm, resourceful mind, and remember what you know. Apply what you know. Well, this stuff gets away from us because we get to conceptualizing a presentation as something like building a building or something. You know, yeah, you're a form of an architect. You are crafting something. You're building something, developing something. But it's a very transient thing. It is not a building. You know, yeah, somebody might make a YouTube video review and it might last forever, okay. But basically, you'll get through this. Keep it simple. Keep it simple. And don't confuse yourself, which is my whole point about, like these techniques. The techniques give you something extra to think about. You definitely don't want to be thinking about extra stuff in the moment of your presentation. Use these guidelines to craft your future presentations, to develop your skill and ultimately your confidence. Transitions, okay. They occur, okay, now there's that should be an easy point to understand. They occur between each of your, okay, remind an audience of previous points. That's saying use your transitions. Use them to effect. They may be smoother, I wrote that, so yeah, that's why I agree with that. Okay, and they develop the contour and the flow of your presentation. Conclusion. Should provide closure to the presentation, should review the main points, identify what the audience has learned, and wrap up. We'll wrap up with an attention getter I disagree with. I didn't know how to edit that out or where to go. I wanted to leave it there because specifically to have this discussion. I don't think if you do everything that I've said so far, you will have their attention. You don't need to get their attention. They will be confident that you've served them because you already reviewed your main points and you had the discussion about what you intended to do and what was done. That is your wrap-up. You know, you will be appreciated, respected. Delivery, what's this? Speed of delivery. It's not a race. Once again, breathe. Calm yourself. Oh, come on. Feel your connection with your audience. Speech habits, making eye contact, using concise language, using appropriate language. Articulate. That's one of the reasons you want to breathe. You want to slow down. You want your words to be understood. I have some experience in acting, and there is a saying in acting, in theater, and all actors don't know and apply this, obviously. But the saying is, the audience does not know the book. And what that means is you have to make the words clear, articulate, understood, so that they can follow you. You are leading them through a story, and you definitely want to be understood. All of this unprofessional stuff, slang, profanity, you know that stuff. As far as the ums and breathe, slow yourself down, calm your mind. Tone and inflection can show it. Don't worry about your tone and inflection. Worry about whether you're saying what you mean. If you are speaking from your heart, you are sharing sincerely, your tone will moderate itself. This is normal human behavior. It's inherent in you. Let me see. Yeah, it can change the nature of the message. It will change the nature of the message, but that's something that you control internally, emotionally. Maximizing audience interest. You will have done so if you have presented from a calm mind and with respect and the intention to serve your audience. Are they listening? I believe they will be not only listening, they will be feeling you, and you will be feeling them. And that is the comfortable place in presenting. When you feel interactive with your audience, once again, make it conversational. Barriers to active listening. All of this stuff, you know, distance, it makes it more difficult to hear. There are psychological barriers. That's what I've largely been talking to you about. How to use psychology to the best effect. And you have a model for how psychology works on human beings, and that model is you. Follow the golden rule. Do your best to treat others as you would like to be respectfully treated. Taking control. We take control of ourselves. If we have control of ourselves, we understand what we intend to present, how we intend for that presentation to serve our audience, and we breathe and enter a calm, resourceful mind state. We're taking control. Begin confidently to get their attention, and then wait calmly and feel or experience that attention. Procedure without connection is pointless. You will do nothing but frustrate and disappoint your own self, and you will deepen your apprehension of speaking. Strategies, relevance, proximity, feedback, technology. Okay, these are going to be explained in the slides. Relevance, demonstrate how your topic can impact their lives. Serve them. Demonstrate your intention to serve them and how you intend to serve them. Relate the topic to issues they are likely to be interested in. Once again, serve them. You don't want to be presenting to an audience things that they're obviously not interested in. That's like, you know, it's a place you don't want to go. You know that. You understand that. Proximity. Moving into this is very circumstantial information. The proximity, you understand that you are your gestures, your facial expressions, all of that is part of the communication when it can be experienced. So there is a definite value to being able to be where your audience can see you. But this is very circumstantial. Some forums don't present this as an opportunity, and it's nothing that you really need to be thinking about. As you become more comfortable as a presenter, you become more calm and focused in the moment, you will notice all of this stuff, and you will begin to present spontaneously, conversationally, and normally. No stress. This is not an abnormal event, and especially as professionals, you're going to need to be. One of the sayings that I learned as a student is it doesn't matter how good your ideas are if you cannot communicate them effectively. Engineering nowadays consists of teamwork. You have to be able to communicate, and this is just, presenting is just another form of communication. Don't make it into something, you know, abnormal and stressful. That is nothing but an idea. Okay, yes, Dr. Ahmed.
So one other thing which I like to add over here with respect to proximity, specifically when you are trying to get audience focus, as Joseph was identifying that nowadays companies would like you to work in teams. So when you are working in teams, it is very important that you understand your team members. One of the things that we see often over here is the fact that the teams are not geographically located at the same place. So your one member might be sitting in USA, the other member might be in India, the third guy can be in Germany, the fourth guy can be in Brazil. So they are all located differently. That proximity, that's where the proximity become a huge issue. The distance, basically. One other thing that Joseph will going to talk about is the distance. Distance between you and the audience, like what we are doing right now. We are sitting 1,000 and 1,000 miles away from you, and we are trying to communicate. And you can see the difficulties that comes along. And these are all the difficulty that was there in 2 slides before, where they were talking about how do you gain student audience attention, how do you keep the audience focused towards your presentation. And that's the most difficult task. Now the same thing can be applied when you are working in teams and you are trying to communicate with your team member. All those techniques that you are using, trying to gain attention and make sure to retain that attention, that will be the key of success in a teamwork when you are working in a company. So these things that you are going through not only help you to do a good presentation, but also to make a good communication across the team. It's all yours, Joseph.
Thank you, Dr. Ahmed. I continue learning from you, sir. Okay, feedback. Yeah, okay, that's one of the things that I had in my notes that I can't access, is the analogy to a feedback loop. Now that works both in engineering and in programming. We try things, And that's the whole thing I'm saying about using these guidelines to process the information that you receive through your experience. Every presentation opportunity is an opportunity because it's an opportunity for you to learn and grow. It's not just a stressful event that you should be glad you got through. Oh, God, I'm glad. I mean, that is a common response, but I'm going to suggest you don't want that to be your response. You make it through this, but it's just design of experiment. You design an experiment, you review the feedback, and as you present to an audience, you have a feedback loop going. Which is why I emphasize the idea of feeling your audience. You need to be calm because that's what your audience is going to feel from you. And as you remain calm and your mind is open and responsive, you will feel that comfort coming back to you from the audience. You will feel that engagement. Sustained eye contact is one of those things. It's like, yeah, maybe. Eye contact is an idea. If you think it means looking people in the eyes all the time, if that's your limited definition of it, then you will be challenged by how to apply that to a large group. But if you think of eye contact as just that feeling that you get when you're having an intimate personal conversation and a person that you trust is looking you in your eyes, that is a feeling. You can say, oh yeah, we looked into each other's eyes, but what is important there is not so much the act of looking into the eyes, it is the feeling of the other person's attention. So that's how I'm going to define eye contact. Feel your audience. Feeling the audience will allow you to monitor their level of interest. If you start to lose their interest, change or technique once again. No, breathe. Don't change your vocal variety. Breathe. That will change your vocal variety because it will change your sensation in the moment. It will calm you. I'm getting those background noises again, not as loud as before, but somebody's mic is open again. Okay, keep going, Joe.
So one thing about the last slide.
Do you want to go back to that slide, sir?
Yeah. Yes, please.
Okay.
So the feedback, as the first point suggests, is the eye contact, and Joseph explained that concept to you in both ways. The literal value, which is looking into the eyes of somebody, and the generic value meaning. Here's the issue with the culture. Here's the culture issue that comes along. Most of the Pakistanis and Indians, or the people from the subcontinent, basically have this tendency of not looking into the eyes of people when they are talking. Now, in the Western societies, when you are not looking into the eyes when you are talking to somebody one-on-one, okay, so you are standing in front of a person and you are talking, and that person belongs to a Western society, any Western society. One of the things that the Westerner will going to come or extract from this will be that you are hiding something. Okay? So looking into the eyes of a person while talking or while they are talking is very, very important in a Western society. You cannot look maybe looking down at their feet or looking on the top of their head. You can't do that. Now, in the Eastern society, that is a part of the culture. That is how you show respect, by not looking in somebody's face to face, onto somebody's face directly, or their eyes directly. You look down so that you show a respect to them. but that is not there in the Western culture. So there is a lot of issues that comes along by that create very, very negative vibes among Westerners. The thing that the second point was talking about, which I think Joseph defined it on the basis of his thesis. It's also important that when you are trying to gain feedback, there are other ways of gaining feedback. Not only that you are looking and gauging people or doing eye contact, but also gauging the body language. Like when I sit down over here, my biggest challenge is to see each one of you, the way you are looking, where you are looking, what you are doing. Okay? In my classes, for example, one of the things I would like to see my student doing is that while they are looking at me, they are also writing something. But because that is a classroom environment, I would like them to basically see, listen, and take notes. Because if you saw something and you listen something, then you will grab a concept, and the one thing you are going to do before you forget that concept is to write it in your own words. So that's my feedback when I teach a class. That's my feedback that I see among students. When I look at you guys right now, the attention you are giving to the screen is one way of finding that yes, you are taking interest in this presentation. It's all yours, Joseph.
Okay, just a second here. Okay, my arrows are. Every time I stop moving the screen for a little bit, it.
Put your cursor inside the presentation and then move.
Okay, yeah, okay, I got you.
Now click on that twice. Click the mouse twice. Right, left button.
Click the mouse twice in. Okay.
That's technology. We are in the second page.
Okay. I with the double click, I wasn't sure that I only went one slide. Okay. Yeah, the screen is a fundamental part of the meeting room. It's a tool. So we're talking now about somewhat about the PowerPoints, but that's just one form of screen. There are different ways that we can, but let's see, can bring, yeah, the point I want to make about, yeah, here we go, PowerPoint presentation. I wanted to get to this information. The don'ts: overcrowding color scheme. You be careful of your color schemes. You don't want to use full sentences and excessive builds, animation. PowerPoint, the next few slides, there are some recommendations from from Guy Kiyosaki, who, yeah, that stuff presents a mess, and it doesn't serve you. This is not a PowerPoint slide. And you'll see why in a second. We'll go to Guy Kawasaki's recommendations, and oh yeah, all of this, yeah. Now, this shows some of the features that are built into PowerPoint, and you can play with them, but you don't want to play games with your audience. You want to serve them. Once again, serve them. The do's: keep it simple. Blank space is not only okay, but it highlights everything that's not blank space. Limit text and bullets, limit everything, and make sure that everything you show supports what you are presenting. It is not your presentation. It supports and enhances your presentation. And so how to? What in the world? Okay. This, Guy Kawasaki. A PowerPoint presentation should have 10 slides, last no more than 20 minutes, and contain no font smaller than 30 points. Now, notice what I'm doing right here. I'm reading the PowerPoint slide. That's a common mistake. I do that with intention when I do it. You see, I don't do it on all the slides, but every once in a while, we've got something like this. This is a point that I really want to emphasize. And the next slide will emphasize it more. It will detail, it will make it more specific. Now, what I want to say about this one, he suggests what your 10 slides should be. I'm going to suggest that rather than viewing this as a list, you conceptualize it more like a flow chart, so that this becomes a process that leads you through your presentation, supporting your presentation all the way. Another way conceptualizing this, rather than a flow chart necessarily, is if you're familiar with a thing called a storyboard, which is used in film, which is like a flow chart. It's more like a comic book, really. It's like a graphic novel, and it tells the story with pictures or images. Well, you clarify the problem that you're solving. You present your solution to that problem. You may suggest a business model wherein that problem exists and where your solution may apply. This is audience specific. You may suggest some of the appropriate technology or conceptual understanding is what I would suggest is the magic when that light bulb goes on above your head. Marketing and sales would be circumstantial. Competition just gives you reflection on. See, I also tend to shy away from the idea, to de-emphasize the idea of competition. Now, if you're looking at competition as other people who can reflect back to you on your particular arena, what's being done, how people are being served, then they are sort of co-conspirators. Not, you see, if I believe in focusing on serving the customer, the client, to the best of our ability, and the only sense in which I want to view competition, define competition, is as a source of further information that I can apply to serving my clients. Team is circumstantial. Projections and milestones is like the story, how you're leading people through the story of how your solution is changing their outcomes. Status and timelines seems to me similar. So basically, you want no more than 10 slides. But I'm suggesting, as I chew through my definition of these slides, you may be using fewer than 10 slides. You want to develop a consciousness of how your slides support and serve your presentation. If they don't do that, you don't want to use them. Or ideally, you prefer not to. Because it will add to the confusion, it will add to the density and the confusion, the difficulty of penetrating your information. It will. So
there is one thing. One thing, please.
Go. Did you say you want me to go back to that slide, sir?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Now, the reason of these 10 slides that are listed over here, I know that most of you or some of you will be interested in presenting their ideas, either to your final year project advisors, or maybe you have some idea that you want to market. You want to become an entrepreneur, and you have an idea, but you don't know how to present it. How many of you have heard the word DICE Foundation? Just raise your hand. Okay. Now the other people who have not heard their name, you will going to know that every year DICE Foundation conduct a tournament in Pakistan. So you bring up your idea and your projects, and they will gauge it. And the concept is that if your idea has a worth to be marketed or has a business value, they will going to fund it. Okay. So one of the things that you can do, one of the things that they will like you to do is to present your idea to them. It's not very easy to present your idea all the time. And majority of the student might have a great project, but they don't know how to present it into their idea to that particular audience. That audience is not looking for the technology. And because all of you are engineers, one of the things that you emphasize over there in your presentation to them is the technology. And most of the time, these guys are not interested in the technology. So look at what these 10 slides are telling you. You are first telling them what is your problem. What is the problem that your product is or your project is trying to address? Next, you are trying to tell them your solution for that problem. How do you, what is your approach to solving their problem? Next, you are trying to show them the business model. Why bringing that product to the market have a business sense. It makes sense to bring that to the market. It will make money. And in the fourth slide, that's where you are addressing your technology. You guys can hear me? Hello?
I hear you, sir.
Yeah, I think they might have lost the audio mic.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, though, I appreciate your reflections. I'm learning right now. That's good. Well, let me know when we're back on. Oh, yeah, I'm pretty much done. This is just you.
Yeah, this is the last slide, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, you are making different sense out of these points than I was able to make on my own. I appreciate that.
Race, we cannot hear you, guys. Somehow the other, your mic is totally muted.
Yeah.
Hello? Hello? Yeah, we can hear you now. Can you speak something?
Yes, sir. Sir, 1 मिनट सेटिंग कर रहे हैं माइक.
Joseph? I think it's okay now.
Yeah, okay.
So Coming back, can you guys can you speak something over there, guys?
Yes, sir. Just a minute, sir.
Okay.
Okay, sir. Now
Yeah, we can hear you.
we are.
So what I was telling you guys is that when you are doing a presentation in such with such organization where you are trying to present your project, or you're trying to present an idea that you would like them to fund, you want them their money, and they will not going to get your money so easily, give you the money so easily. So one of the things that they are looking for is a pitch from you, which is basically a very, very small talk about what is the problem that you are trying to solve, what is your solution for it, do you have a business model for it? And the business model is very simple, that how many can you sell, at what cost you are going to sell it, at what will be the cost of making that, and how much profit can you extract from out of it. And now you can, I was talking about the fourth slide, which is the underlying magic or the technology. This is the only place where you will talk as an engineer about what technology you are bringing in. Majority of the time, the slides that I have seen in the DICE presentations are the one that keep talking about the technology. They don't talk about any other thing. People are not interested in the technology. They would like to know where this technology can be used, how the technology can be used, how the technology can make some money for them. That's what they are there for. That's why the fifth slide become very important. What is your marketing strategy and sales strategies? How do you going to sell it? How are you going to market it? How much money it will take to market it? Sixth slide is will talk about your competition. You might not be the only person who has this idea. You might not be the only person who are giving a solution to that particular problem. So who are your competition and what are their solutions? And the most important thing your audience will be looking for is how your technology differ from your competition technology, and why your technology or your solution is a better solution. So that's what they are looking under the slide of competition, the name of the competition and why your technology or what your solution is better than them. Next come your team. Who is your team? And what they are looking over here is, does the team have the competence to deliver? That is, do they have the right people who can deliver the technology? Do they have right people who can do the marketing and the sales? So they are looking for how strong your team is. Have you covered all the aspects of the project? Next, they are looking for what are your projection and milestones. This is where they are looking for your project plan. Like if you want to bring your idea to the market, what is your project plan? How do you like to bring this idea into reality? When are you going to do the beta testing? When are you going to take the product to the market for demonstration purposes? And then when do you think you will be able to sell your first item? So these are the projection and milestones that they are interested in. Next, they would like to know where you are in that projection and milestone. What is the current status that you are having? Where are you in that particular project plan? And how do you think that you will be able to achieve your goals within the timelines that you are providing? And the last thing is the most important slide. It not only summarizes what you have said earlier in a very, very brief way, but that same slide will also call for action. What do you need from them? What do you need from your audience? Because again, this is a slide for an entrepreneur. And what you are trying to do is to promote your idea to a venture capitalist. That is the person who can fund you, the person who can give you upfront money so that you can bring your new idea into reality, into the market. So what do you need from them? How much money do you need from them? When they give you that money, what are you promised to give them back? So it is basically saying, okay, you give me 100,000 rupees, and in terms of 100,000 rupees, I will going to give you 2% of my company, or 5% of my company, or 10% of my company. Somewhere in the marketing and sales, somewhere in the business model slide, you need to show how much is the worth of your company. That is, if the product idea that you are bringing into the table, if that is a successful product, then how much money it will bring to the company, and what will be how much the overall company will cost. So what is the value of the money, of the company, and what do you want from these venture capitalists? So these are some basic things that I thought that might be interest you guys, and it's good that Joseph put down this particular slide over there, because this is exactly what some of you might be interested in doing. I think Joseph, next is their answer, so we can leave it up to them to ask questions. So any question, guys?
Any question? Mike? Yes, sir. There is a candidate.
So please tell your name, and then your name and your department, and then your question.
Morning, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, please.
Sir, this is Mohammed Aziz from Wholesale Industrial and Manufacturing Engineering.
Yes.
May I proceed, sir?
Yes.
Okay, so my question is from Mr. Simpson. My question is that it has been negated in the slide that mental pep talk. What does it mean? And can he please elaborate this a bit?
Which one is it? Mental
pep talk.
Mental pep talk.
Mental pep talk. Joseph, are you there? Hello, Joseph. Let me see if I can take a control of the slides. Just a minute. I'm not sure where Joseph is. Might lost him. Okay. Let me see if I can open this slide on my end. All right, just give me 1 minute.
Okay, sir.
All right. So this is. Okay.
Hello?
Joseph?
Yeah, I'm
Hello,
here.
Joseph? Yeah, Joseph, there is a question from this gentleman. Can you please repeat your question?
I caught the word. I caught the words at the end. Mental pep talk. That's what he wanted me to explain.
Yes, please. I'm trying to see where it is.
Yeah, that. Oh, you got control of the slides now. Sir.
Yeah,
Okay,
I can do that. Here is it, mental tech talk before you speak.
That is something. What I said about that, I don't make much reference to that. I think that you build your confidence that a pep talk is not really the issue at any time in life. You want confidence. So I would see what I said when I looked at that mental pep talk. I skipped over that largely and said breathe. Breathe is because it's not so much about giving yourself ideas. You don't so much need to talk as you need to change your response. So my suggestion there is breathe, calm yourself. Is that making sense to you?
No, the other way of looking at it
me?
also. Yeah, is the mic on over there? Let me see.
Yeah, if I'm not wrong, so Mr. Simpson means that while you're giving the presentation before that, so you have to speak to yourself and you have to give certain courage and to yourself that you can speak very well in front of audience. Is that mean the mental pep talk?
Yes, it is just like you are talking to somebody about and explaining them what to do. When they are, for example, if somebody is trying to go for, in the cricket, for example, you are the captain of the team and the team is in the bat position and your best batsman is going to the pitch. So you are going to do a pep talk with that batsman. So what you are trying to tell them what and how to do things over there on the pitch. Just like that, you are now doing a pep talk to yourself in the mental way. So you are talking to yourself what you have to do in order to ensure to have a good presentation, what it needs from you to do it. And as Joseph is saying, that most important part to keep reminding in that pep talk is to keep breathing, to make sure that you are not you are confident enough not to take anxiety to over yourself. So that's what is the most important talk you are going to have. And again, that you got the idea that you're talking to yourself. You're talking to yourself but make sure you don't talk so much that you forget that there is an audience that you have to address. Make sure there is a balance between the two. Any other question?
I want to say something right quick, which is like it was very difficult for me to understand the brother's question because there is a pinging in the mic. It's not all about the accent or anything like that. It's like technical stuff. There's a combination of echo in the room and a whole lot of things that are making it difficult for me to have an actual conversation. So if the questions are directed to me, please keep them brief so I can do my best to clearly understand. Okay?
And Rais, can you I would suggest that close the speakers, shut down the speakers, turn down the volume of the speaker on your end, and then speak.
Okay. Yeah, and there should only be one mic open in that room at a time.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, it's better.
Is it okay now?
Yeah, it's better. Can you speak more? Anybody else have any question while we are talking?
Is it okay now,
Questions
sir?
are better directed toward Dr. Ahmed, actually, because he can hear you better. And his responses are very articulate, and you know, I'm learning myself today. So
Rais and Fazan,
well,
any other question?
if there are
Yes,
no more questions,
yeah,
I'd
go
like
ahead.
to say,
I have turned down the volume and the speakers are working now well.
So, any other question from you guys?
No, sir.
No, sir. So, instead of having, how many of you are prepared for the presentation today? Raise your hand if you are ready to do the presentation today.
I am prepared, sir, for the presentation, but the presentation comprises of 67 slides.
No way.
Biggest problem.
It's no more than 5 minutes long.
Yes, definitely it will take 5 minutes, but the slides are more in number, 67 slides, because of the results we had for FIP.
Okay, what I will suggest, because we it seems to me having some issues, maybe we will have the students, whoever was interested in doing the presentation, instead of coming back to the to Dr. Sir Safdar's place, maybe tomorrow, Rais, you can start the online free conference call, and each one of the student can do it from their own house and with the slideshow. You record that presentation, and me and Mr. Simpson will review it, and we can then provide you with our comments later on. How about that? Do you think we will be able to do that?
Yes, sir, it will be okay.
So, so students, what I'm suggesting is that tomorrow you can be at your home. Okay, you have your laptops. Those who are who have shown interest in doing the presentation, if they can do the presentation, Rais will open the free conference call. You know how to log in. So once you log into the site, one-on-one, you will do a 5 minute, no more than 5 minutes. Please don't go more than 5 minutes. So you can show your slide, you can have your video webcam on, and then you can do the presentation of 5 minutes. Once you are done, because it is all recorded, me and Mr. Simpson will review it, and we can later provide you personal comments on this thing. All right? Do you think it is doable? Yes, no, or should we do it tomorrow at the same time?
Yes, sir, it's okay. They are ready to record the slides.
All right. So, who are the people who will be doing the presentation? I know Hibat sent me 5 names.
Yes, sir.
Raise your hand, please. 1, 2, 3 is Rais. Who are the 2 people? Other 2 people? Aisha, I think Aisha and Samreen, they are not there?
Aisha
Aisha and Samreen are not there.
Aisha and Samina are not present.
Okay, no problem. So we all agree that that's how we'll do it. At least 3 of you should do it tomorrow. Hiba, can you please pass on the 2 ladies what they have to do?
Excuse me, sir?
Is Hiba there?
Yes, sir.
Can you please talk to the 2 ladies and let them know what we decided today?
उन दोनों को आप बता सकती हैं कि हमने क्या डिसाइड किया है आज के लिए प्रेजेंटर्स को, जो 2 हैं, समरीना और आयशा। कम्युनिकेट तो कर सकती हो ना, कैसे स्लाइडें बनानी है, प्रेजेंटेशन देनी है।
नहीं, बस उन्होंने खुद ही, they agreed to do the presentation, so we don't have to tell them what to do. All they have to do is to do the presentation if they are interested. Okay? I'll talk to them. Don't worry about it, Eva. I'll talk to them. So, thank you for attending. I will suggest one thing. So here is the thing that I was talking to you guys about. I will show you the website, and Mr. Joseph have done a lot of work in creating the content of that particular website. Let me go back to the website and show you. So we all know our, and you can see my website.
No, sir. Your screen has been not shared with us.
Hold on. Yeah, I will share. Sorry. Just give me 1 minute. Can you see it now?
Yes.
Okay. So you might have all come down over here on this particular site, right? Okay. Now, all the content which are important are available only under the members area, and you cannot go to the members area unless you are logged into the system. So the first thing you have to do is to log in. Because I am logging in as a super user, I might have to. Okay, so here I am. Now when you click onto the members button, it will show you 5 different things. The first one is interviewing techniques. The second is e-courses, e-petition, e-certification, and mentorship. So let's click on to the e-presentations. And here are all the presentations that were done. Not all of them, majority of them are not here, but there are few that are very interesting. So we have put down all of them over here. So here is one of the 2017 presentation by Mr. Joseph Simpson. So if you click this link, you will see an introductory note from Mr. Simpson over here, a lengthy one. It also explains how you can learn effective way of communication in English. So it talks about English as a second language and how can you learn more and be confident in your English. There are several things available over here, and I will suggest you go to the resources. In the resources, that's where you will going to find tons and tons of information about effective communication. So the presentation will be there. It will have information about TOEFL, IELTS, how to improve your vocabulary, and basically how do you learn English as a second language. So let's say if you go to ESL, in the ESL, there are 3 different links that are available. One is 1000 most common words that are used in English. The other is the grammar and vocabulary by Cambridge Advanced and So all of these will going to give you some more information that you can use to help yourself. Some of them are books like this one. You can download them from here. Some of them are presentations like over here, presentation that Mr. Simpson did a while ago. There are three different things. The first one is the art of speech that was done in 2015. Then there was another one that was done in 2015 in April that was on speech anxiety, but you can see this is a longer or a lengthier version. It has 4 different parts, so you can go into each part, and these are video presentations. You can go, I think most of them are on, these one are on daily motions. All these videos are on daily motion. So if you are interested, you can see that most of these are available on the website, but there are tons and tons of resources available. It's up to you how do you use those resources. Again, if you go to the e-certification page, this was the Six Sigma certification program that we have conducted up to now. So any of them you click on and you will find out that there are again resources on Six Sigma. And you click on those resources and it will give you variety of resources on videos, handout, documentation, templates, case studies, all about, and some books on Six Sigma. So I just want to let you know that these resources are available if you want to use them. Any other question before we conclude today's presentation? And because we have all done everything, there won't be any presentation tomorrow. Okay? If you have question, I will send you. You can either send me the question for Mr. Simpson. You can send me those questions, and I'll forward it to him, and he can then give you his answer directly to you. Okay? Rais and Faizan, any other question?
No, sir.
And
No question.
to the audience, I have a thing. You know, Rais and Faizan has been helping me for the past 3 years. Okay, and now that they are graduating, this is their final semester, and they are graduating this semester. And you can see how much work they were doing in order to organize these activities. Now, I'm sitting in USA. I cannot be there to do these organizations, to do these all these things that they do. I have been asking several of you to help me out and be volunteer. And I think there are few people who have been volunteering. But I will suggest now that they should pick up their pace. We need your help. At least I need your help. I cannot run this organization without the help of you. You guys are there. You know what and how to do things. I can just help you out and to tell you what to do. I really, really appreciate both these guys, Faizan and Rais, for helping me out for such a long time. Before them, it was Umaid who used to help me out. Now, after Umaid, I got these two guys, and I'm really glad that I got them. I'm so excited that they are graduating. I pray that all of you get success in life. But I am really grateful to these two gentlemen. They have been a great source for me that have helped me a lot. Really thank both of you. Really, really thank to both of you. I will suggest that maybe it is not a bad idea that you, some of you, those are in the audience who are in at least second and third or year of the university, should come forward and try to take the lead. Ask Rais and Faizan what they used to do and try to be more active to work with me. I really want to appreciate that. Thank you again. I'm sorry my video camera is not working. We try to make sure that the bandwidth is not bottled down, and we can at least see you guys. That's why we didn't open our cameras. The idea is we don't want to take the bandwidth. Faizan was telling me that the internet system over there in Karachi is still very bad after the rain. Mr. Joseph, you have any last thought?
I'm hearing feedback now. I'm getting feedback in my. in my speaker. Okay, now it's gone. Yeah, I appreciate the opportunity to do my best to serve you as students. I continue to be a student myself. I believe learning is a lifelong endeavor. We can always improve ourselves. And I apologize for any technical challenges we've suffered today. But once again, I tried to make it humorous as I was doing it, as we're going through the challenges. Life is like this. There are always problems to solve, and I'm going to suggest that the main problem that God has given each of us to solve is our own consciousness, our own resourcefulness and attention in the moment. Breathe. Breathe, it will always serve you. A calm, resourceful mind is your best attribute. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you all.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Safdar, thank you for helping us out and utilizing your coaching center today. Really appreciate. Thank you for all the help you have given us in putting down this presentation today. I know your facility is a great one. You have to, but thank you for hosting us. Really appreciate that, Safdar.
My pleasure. I didn't realize you were speaking to me with all of those compliments.
No, not. I'm going to come to you, Simpson, later on. I'm basically praising somebody else who gave us this his facility to use. I would also like to thank Joseph. He's always available for me, at least, and always available to help out NAD scholars. Thank you, Joseph, to taking this time. I know that you have a hectic schedule, but thank you all for all the pre-training exercises that we did together. Thank you. Appreciate that.
God bless all. Thank you.
Thank you.
We all serve.
Thank you. Yeah, we all are.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'll talk to you later. Be well. Have a great day.
Bye. ठीक है, फिर अगर आप लोग जा सकते हैं अब, लेकिन अगर कोई और क्वेश्चन वगैरह है किसी और चीज के बारे में, ये कौन सा कैमरा यूज कर रहे थे फैजान? ये इसकी क्वालिटी तो अच्छी थी।
वेबकैम है सर।
सर ये वेबकैम जो आपने भिजवाया है
कौन सा वाला?
आईपी पता नहीं, आईपी वो।
अच्छा, वो जो उसका है उस तरह का है, टेबल लैम्प की तरह का है। हाँ, इसकी एक ही खराबी है, इसका जो